The world was in silence, as if the very nature knew that something was about to change. For years, the legend of Kurama had been remembered only as a force of contained destruction, a beast of infinite power that inhabited Naruto Uzumaki. But the impossible happened. Kurama, the nine-tailed fox, was reborn in a way that no one could foresee, divided in two halves. One half found shelter in little Himawari, radiating a faint light of protection and hope, while the other half, black as the night without stars, returned to Naruto, corrupted, thirsty for power and freedom. At first, Naruto did not notice the change. His heart pulsed with a familiar force, but something deeper was taking root in his soul. The energy of the black Kurama began to envelop each thought, each memory, until there was nothing left of the old kindness that one day inhabited his being. The darkness was not only power, it was identity, it was own will. It took over the body of Naruto completely, and for the first time, the world felt what truly meant fear. When Naruto opened his eyes, the color of life seemed to have abandoned his gaze. The black aura of Kurama surrounded him, like a storm that could not be contained. He felt a strange and absolute pleasure in his new power. No prison, no enemy, no limit could touch him. The same Kawaki who had believed to have controlled Naruto in the dimension in which he had imprisoned him now was only a distant memory of failure. Naruto broke the barriers of his prison, crossed dimensions, and returned to the real world, no longer as a hero, but as an emperor in ascension. Himawari felt something wrong immediately. The presence of the good half of Kurama fought inside her, but it was weak before the overwhelming darkness that consumed Naruto. Each step of his echoed like thunders, and each breath carried the promise of destruction. When Naruto arrived at the gates of Konoha, the village seemed peaceful, unaware of the terror that was about to fall upon it. There was no warning. There was no plea. The darkness spread first like a whisper, then like an uncontrollable wave. All vital energy of the village seemed to bow before the new power of Naruto. He did not hesitate. The black Kurama laughed through him, absorbing the essence of everything around. The constructions disassembled like sand carried by the wind, and the resistance that once existed inside Konoha became useless before his strength. The strongest shinobi tried to face Naruto. Sasuke, Kakashi, and even the leaders of the village stood, but their attempts were useless. No jutsu, no strategy, no plan could contain the avalanche of power that moved with implacable intention. Naruto was not only fighting, he was becoming the very essence of destruction, transforming the world into a territory under his absolute domain. When the dust finally settled, Konoha was nothing but ruins. The sky seemed dyed in black, as if the world had recognized the arrival of its new sovereign. Naruto rose over the ashes, watching the destruction with a silent pleasure. He needed no allies. He needed no justifications. He was power, and absolute power was his natural right. The entire world felt his presence. Tribes, villages, and nations trembled before the Black Emperor, who now ruled without contestation. No army, no alliance could stop him. He offered no negotiations. He offered no compassion, only control. And while the half of Kurama inside Himawari tried to resist, its influence was weak, almost insignificant before the magnitude of the black power that consumed Naruto completely. Naruto was no longer the hero who one day had fought for friendship and justice. He was a new entity, an uncontrollable force of darkness and domination. And before his gaze, the world had no longer hope, only the certainty that the Black Emperor would rule without opposition. The world did not take long to realize that something had changed in an irreversible way. Villages and nations felt the presence of Naruto like a wind that brought death and silence. The black Kurama inside him was not only power, it was consciousness, pure will of domination. Each step he gave outside Konoha reverberated through the continents, and each movement carried the weight of imminent destruction. No army dared to approach. No shinobi dared to raise a hand. Those who still resisted were crushed not by physical force, but by the absolute dominion that his gaze imposed. Naruto no longer needed to fight. The simple presence of him made the enemies falter, as if their own souls recognized that they were before something that surpassed any human limit. Even the most powerful defense jutsus became useless. The black Kurama spread through the world like a living shadow, corrupting everything it touched, absorbing energy, controlling the very essence of life around it. Himawari tried, in silence, to resist the corruption that insinuated itself in her being. The good half of Kurama inside her tried to fight against the advance of the darkness, but it was like a river trying to contain a storm. Each attempt to protect her father was answered with indifferent cruelty. Naruto felt no compassion, felt no remorse. He was complete, absolute, and his consciousness was totally submerged in the pleasure of supreme power. As his dominion expanded, entire villages bowed. The leaders tried to send messengers, formed alliances, tried to resist, but everything disassembled like sand castles before a merciless tide. The entire world began to understand a terrible truth. Naruto could not be defeated. No jutsu, no weapon, no military or legendary shinobi strategy was capable of reaching him. With each conquest, Naruto consolidated his empire. He was not content with physical destruction. He dominated minds, influenced decisions, crushed resistances before they even arose. Tribes, villages, and even entire governments became mere extensions of his will. The black Kurama inside him pulsed, feeding on fear and submission, making him even more powerful. While the world fell little by little under his control, Naruto began to establish the new order. He was not only a conqueror, he was the supreme emperor. Each decree of his was absolute, each word reverberated as unquestionable law. The entire humanity, with exception of rare isolated groups, accepted his domination because resisting was useless. Whoever dared to face his presence was quickly erased, not only physically, but spiritually, as if his power transcended the very concept of life. Even the hope that could arise from the shadows of legendary shinobi proved fragile. Boruto, Sarada, and a few survivors tried to resist, but each attempt of opposition was answered with an overwhelming force that disintegrated any chance of victory. Naruto did not see enemies. He saw only pieces before his board, and like every absolute emperor, he delighted himself in the order he established, in the submission he inspired, in the world that finally belonged to him. The black Kurama laughed inside him, no longer contained, no longer divided. It was a living and conscious presence, and together, Naruto and the black Kurama became a single entity of absolute power. The sky darkened under his presence, black clouds formed like curtains before humanity, and the entire earth seemed to kneel before its sovereign. In the end, nothing remained but silence and obedience. The world had transformed itself into an empire ruled by Dark Naruto, the black emperor that no one could stop. Neither heroes nor gods nor weapons nor alliances. The absolute power had finally found its perfect form, and the entire world was only a reflection of the will of Naruto. The living incarnation of darkness and domination, the one who one day was the hero of the Leaf Village now was something completely different. He needed no recognition, needed no friendship, needed no love. He was power. He was fear. He was the emperor of the world.